Well, I think a lot of would-be homebuyers have been waiting for this reduced cost of borrowing, and then they'll jump into the market. Do you see housing prices correcting much more in the Puget Sound region? I mean, we've certainly seen inventories rise about a third year over year. More negotiation room, perhaps, for those would-be buyers.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating here, certainly. You mentioned supply. Is supply high? Yeah, you're right, but I think people are looking at it the wrong way, quite frankly. Now, we had historically low levels of inventory. We pulled a lot of demand forward coming out of COVID, which we knew because people were moving, remote working, these kinds of things. So when you put that demand forward, you're always going to see a slowdown. Now you've also got a lot of people golden handcuffs, remarkably low mortgage rates. Why would they give that up? They're not moving. Now, we have seen inventory levels rise, but I always tell people, certainly in the Puget Sound region, I say this to brokers a lot, don't look at where we were a year ago. Compare where you are now with the same month in 2019.
Right.
Why then? Well, that's the last, quote, normal year we've had. And so, is it high? No, in fact, in the Puget Sound region, we're still down in terms of overall supply, certainly of new listings. So is it a terrible thing? No, I think that brokers tend to go from the feast to famine mentality. But it's an increase, but in terms of prices needed to soften. In terms of pricing, do we need to see prices soften? Yeah, I think, again, affordability. Think about it here in King County, the entire county. Median sale price last year, almost $1 million.
Right.
And that's the entire county. We're not talking about Hunts Point or Medina.
Right.
So if you look at it there, yeah, we will see a slowdown. Again, interest rates have impacted that substantially, given the fact when the Fed really stopped supporting the mortgage market by buying, they don't set mortgage rates, but by buying mortgage-backed securities, then, yeah, we saw rates double in less than 9 months from a historic, never seen before, likely never seen again low to where we are, we hit above 7%. So that impacts buyers' abilities. For every 1 percentage point increase in mortgage rates, for the same mortgage payment, they can buy 10% less house.
Right.
Just math.
And conversely, it goes the other way around. We drop a point, which might be possible in the total Federal Reserve reactions by the end of 2026. I mean, I'm not sure where we're going to go, despite all of the rhetoric of recent. It sounds like September we're going to see a correction.
We will see a rate cut, you mean?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. The Fed does not set. The Fed funds rate is the overnight lending rate between banks, so they don't. But does it have certain impacts? Yes.
Sure.
You've got to look at the yield on 10-year treasuries. That is really the crux of how mortgage rates are set. So look at where we are now, and today we're down 4.2 roughly on that. So can I see rates drop down from where they are today? Well, we're knocking around 6.5%,
right,
give or take, and have been there for a while. Yeah, I think that we will be down probably a little bit closer to 6 from where we are today by the end of the year. However, brokers or indeed their clients, if they're waiting for 3% mortgages, don't do that because we're not going to see it.
Right.
I think the long-term, what's called the terminal rate for mortgages, for the 30-year mortgage rate, it's going to be seesawing either side of 6%.
So get used to it.
Yeah.
And plan accordingly.
And there's a very straightforward, very significant reason for that. It's our debt level as a country.
Okay.
And so we have to service that debt. And we do that by issuing more debt. And so countries or buyers of those securities, they're going to want a decent return on them. So have we been used to, or did we get used to, historically low rates through COVID? Yeah. But you think about it over time, from the 80s going onwards, we kept on seeing rates drop by decade. We averaged in the 12s in the 90s and in the 9s in the 2000s and down. It can't go down to zero.
Right.
So I think, yeah.
Those days are well in our past.
Correct. And so I think if you think about it, I'm not saying they can never go down below that 6% threshold if we have a recession. Absolutely they can. But again, that long-term rate, it's going to be high 5s, low 6s is my expectation. That will obviously act as a bit of a headwind to home price growth. Not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, we need to get used to it. I just don't see us ever getting back to those halcyon days in 2022 when 30-year fixed rate mortgages were down 3%.
Well, we have to remember, too, for all those buyers that are waiting for a sharper rate or hoping for this perfect world of better buy and lower rate, the reality is you can't rebuy, but you can always refi. So you got to jump in at some point if you want to be a homeowner. And at least these last couple of years, we have watched median home prices in the region rise significantly year over year. And it seems like it's plateaued a little bit right now because we have higher inventory levels, especially here in King County. But the notion that it's going to go backwards, over the next couple of years doesn't seem to be holding water in terms of the median home prices.
And it doesn't. Again, you also think about it. Yes, if you see rates go down, that's good. But over that same time period, if prices have gone up, one could quite possibly be offsetting the other.
Correct.
So, I think, again, buy what you can afford. You don't over-leverage, don't overstretch. But if you are if you're a broker advising your clients, or indeed the potential buyer themselves, if you're just sat waiting for rates to plummet again, you'll be sat waiting for a very long time.